I got you. That's me. I'm
just blow up the speaker real quick, you know. And the fire song is literally.
It's actually a really strong
up.
magnet, so I hope you don't have any.
Okay.
Computers.
I was just opening it up to the air, just a little bit low down there. Do it too quick, make a mistake, calling it quits. I was just fronting it was all fair.
I don't think I'm familiar with any of these records. I should definitely peep them.
Well, that one, it's a cool record because it was like, it really showed off what the Moog synthesizer could do back in the day.
Interesting. What year is it from?
1978.
Cash.
Yeah. No, one of my favorite records is like a synth record that's just super cozy and mysterious. Did you know the guy who made that also did like a satanic synth record by Lucifer?
What?
That was his alias.
Hell yeah.
So he made Plantasia and he made Black Mass by Lucifer. And then he quit.
That's so sick. Iconic.
Slash the trans, let's track a poll. How should we bomb the children? Please cast your vote. Watching the dub, eating Thai with some chopsticks. Saving hip hop every time that I chop quick. Got religious trauma, be praying that God's dead. From vaguely liberal to getting put on a watch list. Dissonance, any movement is last ditch. A pacifist, apprehensive to act quick. Mentally prepared to put a cap in a fascist. At this point even centrists are making my hands twitch. I don't want to spend my time feeding the algorithm. I know that is bad for my emotional nutrition, so I make a little art. It distracts from the decisions that I will be forced to make when we can't ignore the schism. Still chopping it up, you get the dishes. I got a gift of the gab, you get to listen. I guess it's a full.
Gotcha.
Hell yeah. Yeah, definitely. I feel free to just rock and be emotive.
Yeah.
Like, I like when it's like a little like crazy. It's
That makes sense.
Yeah.
All the emotion, you know, that's what I love to hear in like the rappers and stuff.
Absolutely.
Politics is a trap. It's like, and like the sheriff and the judge show up and he's like, we need to take this to the courts, and they're just like, we just did a whole play about like why that doesn't work. Like these people will exonerate this man. Like fuck that. Like he fell on his knife. He killed himself, and they just leave it at that. Like that's how it ends. And so so Aaron Sorkin very at the end is very much like it's very much like we should like radical action, and when the system fails, like radical action, and even in the form of violence, is like completely justified or warranted. I'm like, bro, thank you. Oh my god, come home to. It's like watching like Bo Burnham's Inside, where you're like, oh, you're anti-capitalist now. Thank God.
You're watching Inside of Bo Burnham, where you're like spreading his cheeks. Or something.
That's some Goodsy shit.
I think it's great that at any given moment you are just ready to spit the entire plot in excessive detail of like any classic American novel or English. That's how I feel.
Yeah, that is crazy. I can't see the plot of like the last thing I watched. Yeah, couldn't tell you.
Yeah, these days it's probably more like film. I only watch like a lot of film.
Have you seen The Sopranos?
Yes, I have.
Okay,
seen The Sopranos.
good.
That show's amazing.
Hell yeah.
I usually sing those.
Nice,
but,
that's good.
No, that's a pretty good show.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I need to see The Wire.
The Wire?
Yeah, The Wire is good. It's a lot more dry. That like it's still good, but The Wire. It's gotta be wet. Always wet. The Wire is much more about like a system of things happening. Like it's a very like sociological kind of story, where The Sopranos is like very humanistic. Like even though you see a bunch of different people and how those things interact, it's very like interested in like the individual like humanity or evil or like hypocrisy, vulnerability, weakness, whatever, narcissism of like the characters, where The Wire is more about like this like display of obsessive research of like how like the police system is like corrupt, how it works with like, you know, like incentive structures and stuff like that. I mean, not that there still isn't cool characters and drama stuff like that. Like it's cool.
Is it a Harvey Beaks?
It's great, but it's a lot less.
What was that? Is it a Harvey Beaks?
I don't know. It's not. Bulbasaur and
I saw the Bluebird from Harvey
Day
Beaks.
of the Dead. Nightmare Before Christmas.
Nice. Hell yeah. Nice.
That's cute.
So yeah, so what's
Music
earlier
question?
you were talking about the grind that you're on now versus before with your musical mindset.
Yeah, I just wasn't I wasn't curating anything I was working on. I wasn't recording anything I was working on. I wasn't interested in, it's like not why I was doing it. I wasn't like, I'm going to make music. I was like, I'm going to get better at rapping was basically how I was thinking about it. Because we would mostly do like freestyling and stuff like that. Like that was like the whole, what most of the like freestyle club that we ended up starting at my college was like us just like getting around and ciphering. And we'd show each other stuff we were working on. But I thought a lot of it as like exercises. Like a bunch of the songs I did, including stuff I did like at the show, were things where I would literally give myself a time limit. I just like pick a beat that I liked or like had been listening to. I play it and I'd be like, what's the most I can write to this in 2 hours? And then if I ran out of beat, I would refine it in that time basically. And then it never changed them.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
And so like they do in many ways kind of feel like writing exercises, which is cool, and you can see like the evolution of it or whatever. But what's interesting is like where a lot of people, like with getting to do shows or getting to meet people who are talented, some of that feels like a lot like just like blind luck. But there is something to be said for like, while I didn't like the whole preparation meets like opportunity or whatever like that, where it's like the thing that I prepared wasn't recording music, it wasn't building a local following, it wasn't building like an artist social media page. I didn't do any of those things. And I could have, and maybe it would have been better. But the thing I did focus on was like, I just want to be good at rapping.
Yeah, your craft.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a craftsperson.
And I think that like what is good about that is it lets me, regardless of if anyone likes it per se, it lets me accurately communicate my like sensibilities and like aesthetic preferences and like stuff like that. And so it quickly highlights people who are interested in my kind of thing. Oh, if I want to do something like this, he would be viable, basically. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and like, so it's the same thing with Mike, where he's like, oh, I like this kind of rap, so you can do this, because I can demonstrate. Oh, I can do this kind of, like, I can communicate my idea. Reminds me of like playing Melee, like that idea.
Hell yeah.
Of like, oh, I have an idea, but then you get at the thing so you can communicate the idea, and then you find out if it's good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But until you can accurately even like interpret like the vibe that you have in your head, then it's hard for anyone to like latch onto it. And so the fact that like I was immediately able to like meet people who were interested in similar music stuff, and who were good at the parts that I didn't have access to. Like that's stuff that I like have even though I have a lot of like appreciation for like production and even some mixing stuff that I like can understand or appreciate from like from a consumer perspective. Or like sound engineering stuff. I can't do any of that stuff. And so even when I would be able to pull like beats or something, they would all be like fucking free YouTube beats, which is like cool, but not only is there's less flexibility there, but there's like a ton of different kinds of sounds that I don't really have access to rap it, because they're not really made. There isn't like a little like YouTube industry of producing like super like
cutting
future bass hyper pop hip hop emo beat like like something like that.
You might find like a Breakins type beat.
Yeah, like maybe, right? Yeah, exactly. And it's just like, so being able to like work with someone like Lizzie, or like even someone like you who has, or like with your interest in like that sort of like post Neptunes, post like Tyler the Creator, like that kind of
post Neptunes, definitely.
You know what I'm talking about? Like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's very cool, because it's like, oh, I know that my craft is versatile enough to where like I could think of how to not only like perform over this, but like craft a song around it. Like I can write a song around it pretty comfortably, but I just couldn't do any of the
making the beat itself, or like the recording, or like getting it up to semi-professional standards and stuff. Yeah,
so it's like a nice crossroads of feeling like I'm prepared, like I now have like my muscles built up, my tool is sharpened to be able to actualize stuff around that. And then also I'm just grateful to have like met people or just been at places at the right time to be able to
I'm super grateful for the open mic shit. Like, all these people I've met, like, it's just crazy. I didn't think there was shit going on in Baltimore like that, honestly. Yeah. So I feel way less alone, and also I feel way more ready to, like, use my skills, you know?
Yeah, because it's just, like, around any corner, you're like, there could be someone else with just some sick shit who's, like, anxious to make stuff.
I feel like a lot of artists nowadays be coming up on social media without practice. Mm-hmm. Yeah. They don't practice. They just, like, pop up, and they're like, I want to be a world-famous artist. So I'm going to, like, promo every day.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. It's sad to see.
Yeah,
one of the crazy things with the open mic is that a lot of us that get along started going around the same time.
Yeah, it's true.
Within a couple weeks of each other.
Yeah,
it's pretty nuts. So like the timing just really worked out.
That's true. So I just went because like Louise invited me. Like I didn't know anything about it, but I think Louise was like, I might do something, and my friends are doing something already. Yeah. I think it was like Alex and whoever did their comedy thing, and I was like, yeah, I'll come to that. And I was like, oh, this is lit. I was like, I can rap at this.
I felt like that's the first time I went, I was like, I felt it. I felt like I was almost like at a melee tournament. I felt like that drive to prove myself and like put myself out there. You know, like
you want you want other people who go there regularly to be like, oh, this is about to be good. Like, this is coming up, hell yeah. Like, yeah, for sure.
So what was how did you like get into music and stuff? I'm just gonna make sure that I did click record. I'm pretty sure I did. Yeah, I did.
Hell yeah.
And we're looking good on battery. We're still looking good on battery too. Hell yeah. So you started with like battle raps and going out and being in crowds and stuff and lots of like writing.
Yeah, or like the hip hop stuff. Like my initial introduction to music was not hip hop at all because my parents are not about about rap.
Yes.
When I was born, but
right.
But like I think I was vaguely interested in high school, but kind of, and then I really got into hip hop in college.
Okay.
I think. And in between that, I got into EDM, which I did not think was going to happen.
That's where I'm at right now. I'm like, I like EDM now, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Hyperpop helped me like get back into it.
Yeah.
So what was it like for like you? Like, did you grow up like being musical and stuff?
My mom would like sing around the house a lot and stuff, and they liked R&B and rap. Like my parents were like super heavy into that, so they would like school me on like Biggie and Nas and like
so tight.
Jodeci, Voice to Men type shit.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Everything.
It's tight as hell.
It was great. I got great musical exposure, but I didn't actually start making music until I was like 13, I would say.
Yeah,
Before that, I was like fiddling around with like I would like replace the instruments on MIDIs.
Nice.
That's
like,
cool.
I'd be like, oh, this Mario song with Sonic instruments.
Yeah.
That's totally
nice. That's
sick, that's cute. Cool.
It was like a trend back then, but then I started.
That's like Newgrounds era stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then I started getting into like making stuff because chiptune, like a lot of 8-bit music and stuff like that. I saw there was like a program called Femi Tracker. Which lets you.
That's the crazy one where you have to like type in the numbers and stuff for the notes, right?
Yeah, it's like a spreadsheet.
What do they call those?
Trackers.
Yeah, trackers. Yeah,
that's how I got into
you're like
music.
coding the melody basically.
Literally, that's how I got into music was like these little like spreadsheet things because they would let you make mute. It came from the 90s, like 90s computers and stuff, so it lets you make music on a bunch of old ass shit.
Yeah, that makes sense. I came out playing like violin. I think was probably the main thing I did. Both my parents are very are like musicians. My dad was a jazz saxophone player in the Navy band, and my mom still is. And my dad's a psychologist now, and in between the two of those things, he was a preacher. Such pivots, a whiplash
all over.
And my mom has been like a strings like music teacher pretty much like my whole life.
That's pretty cool.
I guess she was still in school when I was born, I guess.
Yeah.
But like, it was what she's been doing. It's been her like career like the whole time. And so I played violin a bunch. I almost went to school for it. Like it was like a defining part of like my teenage life too. I was in a ton of orchestras and I would do youth orchestras and my high school one and the all county one and
do you ever still play like violin?
Every once in a while. I teach a little bit still, so I'll teach them violin viola lessons. Every once in a while I'll play if I'm up to it. It's less common now. And then sometimes I'll play like a wedding or something for money or for like a friend or something like that.
That's pretty cool.
And I still know like talented people who play, like I could get like a string quartet together easy, like, and that with
that's
like
crazy.
People that could like play well and people who can like arrange music too and stuff. So
I'm gonna take you up on that one of these days.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be like, get some string players together.
Yeah,
we're gonna get these string players paid.
Yeah,
that's something that I've always wanted to record is like live strings.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it sounds so much different than synth strings.
Yeah.
You can almost always tell when someone's using synth strings because it's just like this perfection that you don't get. Because like even a guitar or like you have frets or piano, you could hit a wrong note but not an out of tune note. But violins, viola, anything in like the orchestra type stuff, it's all just like a fingerboard. It's just wherever you put your finger. And so people don't vibrato at the same time and stuff. And so there's this like slight imperfection to it that really breathes life into it. It feels so much cooler. It sounds to me so much better. The timbre usually sounds better too, but especially like it's like you get to, I don't know, it's like seeing like fingerprints on like a piece of 3D art or something like that, or like stop motion, something where you get to feel a little bit of like the human that made the thing.
Yeah. Nice.
For sure.
Oh yeah.
That makes a big difference. Yeah, I'd love to. I mean, I could definitely. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Pretty cool.
Yeah, and we had a hell of instruments at the house too. Like I'd play like guitar. I'd use piano some just for like music theory type things, or like we would my sibling had the drum set. My dad would play it sometimes too, and my dad would play saxophone, which you can still do. We have like a flute somewhere in the house. And,
Hell yeah!
We had like a couple cellos somewhere. My sibling was so ahead of their classmates in the school system in violin that they just switched to cello so that they could like learn something from the ground up also. And they've always been like, now they play a lot of viola now.
That's pretty cool.
Again, they started going to school for it, and it was like,
oh, okay.
Nah. But
I was not an instrument player growing up, you know, like because I was like hella broke. My parents were not into instruments, so there was no means.
Yep.
So the computer was like my way of expressing that shit.
Yeah.
And
that's awesome. And the fact they were able to find like accessible or like free programs and stuff.
It's huge. I pirated everything.
Hell yeah.
In this year alone, like I bought like thousands of dollars worth of shit finally,
Right.
but it's like a backup from the past like 10 years, you know, just like all this shit that I never bought.
Yeah, for sure.
Nice.
But like I'm glad I can finally, you know, pay it back.
When did you start going from like the trackers and stuff to things like you use Ableton?
I use Ableton. It came from just like, you know, I'll be making this chiptune stuff and I'll keep trying to do like tricks and ideas that like are from DJs and like hip hop songs and stuff like that. I got into this app called Renoise, which is a tracker DAW.
Yeah.
And it lets you, you know, like do all the modern shit but in the tracker format, and that's where I got into sampling.
Oh, cool.
I was listening to Plastic Beach by the Gorillaz.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I had been listening to also a lot of hip hop. I've learned about sampling, and I always wanted to try it, but I didn't know how. I was listening to this song, and I was just like, "What if I just play this part over?" I just went, you know, I was just scrolling around and playing the thing, and I was just like, I was chopping it up in the playback, and I was like, "Wait, I could just put this in the tracker right now."
Yes.
And that's why I started making beats.
Oh, that's so
yeah.
That's so cool.
Nice. Yeah, you gotta love Gorillas. They're so good.
Oh my god!
I used to work at a Subway. It was a very soulless job. Like 2 months, I was the only person in the night shift.
Oh.
But it was great because I could have all the free food that I wanted because I didn't have any managers there.
But it's Subway.
But yeah, when I was there, I would, because I didn't have any supervisors, I would always have an earbud in. And I listened to a lot of like Weezer and Gorillaz and stuff at that time.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I remember Plastic Beach is the one that Cal Uchis is on.
Yeah.
I don't remember which song it is. Yeah.
I think it might have been Empire Ants, maybe.
Okay.
No, it might have been Little Dragon. They sound similar, but
nice.
Yeah.
I feel like the Gorillaz artwork would fit your aesthetic too. Like the kind of like.
It's always been an inspiration. Even like there's just like not putting reality forward. You know, like the fantasy forward aesthetic of it is really cool to me.
Oh yeah.
You know, that's why I have my like lizard.
Nice.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. So, I don't know. Are you guys working on any kinds of like bigger projects, like albums, or do you have like any musical goals that you're working towards?
I know Lizzie's like you're gonna drop a beat tape by the end of the month, right?
I have many plans.
Hell yeah.
Devious, sinister, nefarious plans. Yeah, I got $200,000 Lizard coming out next month. That's a beat tape, 10 tracks. The title, you know, it's kind of just like random, but then I was like, what if this is a series, right? Where it's 200, 400, 800.
Oh, cool. Hell yeah.
Tight.
That's a trilogy.
It's like Gex. It's like the 100 Gex, 10,000 Gex, or whatever.
I love 100 Gex, but it gets so annoying because I'm like, I thought of that first.
Yeah. Sorry. I didn't say that. Especially because it's also like Gex, like lizardy or whatever.
Right.
Like my guy looks like Gex.
Right. But, you know, it's all good because, like, you know, we need more lizards in the world.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
But no, like, basically, 200, 400, 800, and then it's going to be $1 million lizard compilation with like bonus tracks.
So that's beautiful.
That's the wrapping it up with the bow.
That's tight.
And then I've been working on this album for like 2 years called All Lizards Go to Heaven with like 5 exclamation marks.
Nice.
Yes.
And that shit is going to be coming out hopefully May.
Oh, cool. Hell yeah.
Yeah,
soon.
Yeah,
I am excited.
Damn.
I just need to like record shit. Recording shit is hard sometimes.
Yeah, I feel that.
I'm just like, it needs to be, this is the one take, you know, it has to be the perfect take, and I just do it for like months and months.
Yeah, super good that.
Nice. Well, that's pretty exciting. That's like, you know, that sounds like some pretty big stuff for you. That's awesome.
I'm pretty hyped. I have my fucking, let's see, what do we got here? CD. I want to drop one of these again, right? Double disc shit.
Can I see?
Yeah.
I love this.
This is my last album under Beardy. Satellite, etc. Yeah.
This is you?
Yeah.
How did you do this?
You I paid people to make it.
Yeah. Nice.
It was crazy.
I popped off.
That's
I was like, hey, would you make
amazing.
this if I gave you money? They're like, yes.
It's like really, it's
Yeah.
beautiful. Like
Yeah.
all the design and the colors and everything.
It's very high quality.
The art is by Kobe Soft Joe, the 3D art, and then like a lot of the text and all that stuff's by Jack Grimes.
Yeah.
And then I commissioned, what was it like? I forget what it's called, but some CD making shit. Duplication.Canada, I think it
Okay,
is.
nice.
And they
Hell
made
yeah.
that shit, yeah.
That's so sick on
it.
it.
It looks really good.
Thank you. Yeah, I want to do another one of those.
Yeah, for sure.
The cool thing about this is that the first disc is actually the original album. This is the deluxe version where I added the second disc.
Oh, cool.
So that's all like remixes and like bonus
Oh,
tracks.
cool.
That's fucking tight.
That puts things in perspective. I was recently very excited last week because I found like a CD burner at their store for $10.
Honestly,
and I was like,
I mean,
I'm gonna buy like 100 pack of CDs and burn these like one at a time. And I'm gonna like sell these at a show, and I'm gonna like draw a stupid doodle on the cover.
Oh, that's beautiful.
We have
Yeah.
the same idea.
Yeah,
Because
feel
I
like
have a burner down there.
Yeah.
Your music is very glam. You know what I mean? Like it's pop. It sounds like the perfect pop. You know what I mean?
Oh hell yeah! Thank
And
you.
I do like the rough. You know, like it's like I don't know. It's like a pencil, a drawing done in pencil versus like a drawing done on like a digital tablet. That's how I feel when I think about like your music. Yeah, it's super cool.
A lot of people have noted that I'm like clean, like very like precise. I have friends who are a lot more like rough.
Right.
Have you ever heard of what is it? Oh my gosh, I can't. Okay, I forget. But basically, some people are circle and some people are like really rough shapes.
Oh, cool. Okay, nice.
It's something booba. I forget the other word, but basically the words represent the concepts. Booba is like round.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
And the other thing is like really spiky, and so there's like two types of people.
Oh,
I'm Booba.
Nice. I think I have heard of that before.
I wonder which one I am, because like a lot of things about me are on the rough side, but I definitely like, I don't know.
It's Booba and Kiki. That's what it was.
Yeah. I vaguely remember that.
I remember because the idea is which one is which, and everyone says Kiki's the spiky one or whatever.
Yeah. Kiki's spiky.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I have just songs out. So right now, I mean, I literally have nothing streamable anywhere. Like, it doesn't
Right, you've just been crafting.
Yeah. I want to put out at least minimum one song, although I think I will be able to do 2 or 3 by the time I play my next show. That way I can say, hey, here's an actual place where you could listen to me. If you liked anything you just heard, you can hear more of this.
Do you have any concepts floating around for like what an album would be like, or like what you imagine your artist's realm is?
Yeah, well, so the big thing is I have a lot of different types of like musical interests, and I don't know whether or not I like the idea of an album being as scattershot as my taste, but I do like the idea of not being able to be boxed in that way. Like I do like the idea of having like being able to move from like a boom bap to like a trapped out, Zulu Brass song to like an emo bedroom pop song to like a Toby Lou type song, or to like some dreamy lo-fi stuff to stuff that's like all of it interests me, and I listen to a lot of I'm pretty savvy in those spaces artistically, and have been getting better and better with my ability to like conform my voice to that kind of stuff too. So I don't know. I kind of like the idea of an album where like every song feels like it's a kind of a different genre, but you start to see the threads, like, you see the similarities in them, or like similarities in the ways I write, or like there's stuff that I tend to do a lot. Like a lot of what I write tends to have like an intro, establish idea, and then ramp up in speed, like structure and stuff like that. It's like, I don't know. Some ideas interest me via genre, some just in like song structure, like where so I don't know. I don't know. I could see, because like some people, like people who change their sound a lot, like a Tyler, or like fucking whoever, John Mayer, whatever. Like they'll have it like one album will have like a cluster of like associated sounds, and then their next album will be different.
It's completely different.
Yeah, but for me, I don't know. I think what I'm probably gonna aim for now is just for the next handful of songs I'm interested in, just do whatever interests me most after I made the last one.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great way.
Whatever headspace I'm in after I made the last one, make the next one, and then figure out of whatever I make in the next like 6 months, some of it I'll just put out as little singles or whatever on Spotify, SoundCloud, etc.
That's the way to do it.
And then I might, if I notice a pattern, might collect a few for a little EP for something short. And then once I've done that, if I were to move into an album, I would probably have some sort of like actual concept in mind for it, where I would want it to actually be like coherent, like
as focused on something.
Yeah, but I'm not. That's farther on my horizon. Like right now, I just want to like make stuff at all because I have nothing. So I just want to make stuff and just get that momentum going and get some singles, get a short again, like a little collection, get an EP or something, and then I think from there I'll be able to find, listening to me, especially listening to myself in a number of different kind of genre styles, I'll be able to highlight what I like, and like what I want to do more of, lean more into, do more of, and what I'm like, I actually don't need to do this, or like maybe I just like all of that. I mean, we'll see. But.
It's sick because like, and I recently had to reset myself to this position as an artist, but like you're at square one basically. You're just like, you have these tools and you can build whatever you want from here. Like you don't have to like, there's no foundation yet.
Yep.
It's just.
And I'm more comfortable, and that it would also mean that I would probably be able to more comfortably do a couple promotion-related things, because I've been posting, like, just the shows I've been doing, which is fine, but to me, there's no point in trying to build any sort of hype unless I have something stringable.
A song,
yeah. Like even one song that someone could, like, go to a Spotify or SoundCloud or YouTube profile and just, like, listen to at home, and, like, until I do that, like, I just want to have an existence, so I have a reference point when I do a show or something. But I have a lot of talented friends with art stuff too, so I like commissioning like art of my little character, my little persona guy, my little Casper guy.
Hell yeah.
I can think of a number of different ways that would be like fun to do things with. Or I like the idea of like Casper and like the Lizzie's personal army lizard, like or the beauty lizard or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, both in like on an album art or whatever. Like,
yeah, totally.
Like the Liz nerd is driving the tank and the Casper is like just on the top of the tank or whatever.
Hell yeah,
or
absolutely.
Whatever. Or both of us are like get sucked through some sort of like psychedelic cyberspace thing or something like that.
Hell yeah, Zochi. I listen to Goats and Trees, right?
Oh yeah.
And like, I listen to all your stuff, right? And the EP that came before that, I forget what it was called.
The one that came before that was Tricky Tricky.
Yeah, Tricky Tricky.
Yeah.
Very different sound too.
Yeah.
Like, where are you going next?
Where am I going next? I think I just keep getting rougher and rougher. Like now that I just have like a drum set in my room and like a bass and shit, I'm just like, I enjoy like the creative. Just like I have an idea, I'm gonna grab something and record it more than like. I have an idea. I'm gonna spend 30 minutes programming drums.
Yeah, right.
Like I would rather spend the same amount of time like fucking up on the drum set and having a worse sound quality, but just because it's more fun and like that's how I like working.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because you can always clean things up, but you can't. It's hard to dirty it.
Yeah. Exactly.
And the organic thing is like hard to like manufacture.
Yeah, yeah.
Real dirt.
Yeah.
I like there's
drums.
The guitarist from Radiohead.
Tom York.
No, that's a singer.
Johnny Greenwood.
Johnny Greenwood. Yeah, one of my favorite like musicians.
Great composer too.
Yeah, his soundtracks are insane. Yeah, like the Phantom Thread and everything.
Yeah, I mean, I used to listen to that shit when I would do homework all the time. Specifically the Phantom Thread.
I listen to it like weekly.
Yeah,
but anyways, he has this line where he was talking about how it's really fun. He really loves like struggling on an instrument that he's not good at, and like that's what he likes making music with. And like I feel the same way. Like I want to have more shit that I'm able to use, and I want to be having people who do styles that I'm not familiar with.
Yeah.
I guess kind of always keeping it around like hip hop, kind of pop. Recently, I've been really getting into Benny Sings.
Yeah, Benny
I think
Sings
that's
is
the
great.
kind of vibe that I've been going for.
Oh, that's great.
Like,
Oh shit,
forward.
Benny Sings is great.
Yeah,
and just more collaboration in general.
Yeah.
I made music like alone for a really long time, and now when I'm doing the open mics and stuff, it's like I want to work with people, kind of show off what they can do, and like it's like chemistry when you get different people together and different sounds. You get really interesting results.
Yeah, and you bring things out of each other. You hear someone else do something with your like sensibilities.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
with your production or with your voice or whatever.
Yeah, like when you were like spitting the lyrics, and I was just like feeling on how many of those things connected to like my music in general, and like the kind of stuff that you've done that I saw your live show. It was just like, whew, it was so sick.
Dynamics are huge, man. Like fucking. I work with like a a bunch of friends, like we have our own little production crew called Baggage Claim.
Oh, cool! Hell yeah!
We'll camp with artists for like days in the studio and just like make a bunch of shit. And that's something I've noticed. It's just like it's really nice to be able to trust people. It's nice to like kind of like be able to give up an idea and let it go wherever it needs to. I like when everything in the room is live and like running and anyone can just kind of fuck with shit when they need to.
Yeah, for sure.
I love that kind of shit.
Yeah, I've always thought it would be fun like to do like a Brockhampton style thing.
Sure.
Like kind of how they do it, where they're all just in the same place.
Yeah.
So they were all living together. I don't want roommates, but like maybe like a week, right? Like where we all go somewhere.
Yeah, like a Revenge of the Dreamers or something.
Yeah, something like that, like a retreat where you just go out, you get like a cool cabin or something.
Do you know what it is?
I've heard of it.
Dreamville album where they just all went and they made music.
Yeah, they like all the Dreamville guys, but then they also have fucking like Young Nudie and Kendrick and
Saba
and Smino and like
shit.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
That's
you can hear it.
Fun. That's fun.
Yeah, the one where Kendrick, he didn't rap, he just sang on that one, and I was waiting for him to rap.
Yeah, I was like, come on, man.
For sure. I just remember being like, oh, this is cool, we'll see what it sounds like, and then they put out Down Bad before it, and I was like, this is about to go crazy.
Yeah.
I was like, this is about to be nuts.
Shit's crazy.
I freaking
love
I
listened to Sacrifices like a million times, in Costa Rica,
I make sacrifices. Such a good song.
Do you have any album titles in mind for your future?
Oh, I've had one album title that I've never gotten to use, but that I don't think I ever will use it.
The Forever.
Well, also because it was before when I was rapping as Noah J, but the idea was Noah J anal fucks K-pop into oblivion. Me just like shitting on the music industry because like K-pop is like
it's like the
a really extreme version, but like the American industry is just it's like the same, but it's not as direct about like, oh, you need to get plastic surgery, but it's like all the musicians that we're like investing in have like plastic surgery. So like
incentivized as opposed to top down, but what they're incentivizing or demanding in both instances is like a weird conformity, unethical.
Yeah, it's weird, unethical, harmful in a lot of ways, and it gets in the way of like artistry. But
for sure,
I don't know. And I was thinking of K-pop too, because like I was in Hawaii, so like all my friends were Asian and listened to K-pop, and I had every K-pop star is gorgeous, just all of them.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And
all like vaguely femme.
They're all vaguely, it's ridiculous.
I'm jealous, honestly.
So, if I ever did get to like anal like a K-pop star, that would be great. And if I got to do that because I made an album called
I see. I want to fuck a K-pop star. DM me.
The title is it's me manifesting. It's me manifesting that I'm just gonna gangbang every K-pop star, man, woman of legal age. I need to clarify that because they got those camps over there where they're like, "Hey, you little 6-year-old, you work for me now."
Yeah.
It's just like
Pinocchio.
Yeah, a little lab grown.
Yeah, like Geppetto's Stromboli's.
Yeah, all of them that are of legal age are still like primordial cells. If I can fit my dick in the tube, before they're like a human, and then I'll just like murder them. No, I don't. I'm trying to think. Oh, I've been trying to come up with a name for like the collaborative album that I'm working on right now with people from the Depot. I was thinking it'd be fun to do some kind of wordplay on like collab or like collective, whether it's like an acronym or something. But for this one, I want to have like another story running through it, and I think that the story idea is like we're all at like a house party, right? And we're like performing for each other, and then there's like monsters show up or something, so we need to like run, and we end up at the depot, and so like in between the songs there'll be like skits with people from the depot where it's like holy shit, like blah blah blah. People will get like fucking murdered, and I'll like do audio of their deaths and stuff.
That sounds fun.
Like,
I love that you're immortalizing the depot.
Yeah.
They're so heartfelt.
Yeah, I think it's a cool place, honestly.
Yeah.
Plus, it also, I think, what's nice about that is it will mean something to a bunch of people right away. Like, if that makes sense. You have like a built-in potential audience there.
Exactly.
Well, I'll listen to the Depot album.
Exactly.
I come here like every other week.
I'm on that Parasite shit. I see something that works, and I'm like...
I mean, I feel like you could get their, like, sponsorship in a way. Like,
that'd be fun to do, like, a Depot show of, like, that.
Yeah, especially if you had... Yeah, exactly. Especially if you had, like a good handful of artists that you all met there, that all, like, performed there. I mean,
that's special.
Yeah,
that's really special.
And any performance of something like that, it would be easy to convince any of those people to come out because they're already coming out, and then they could bring their friends and stuff, and you could do like a banger ass show.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at the whole coming out thing. Oh yeah.
Mood.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking of an album in the future called Pom Pom Guillotine.
Okay, hell yeah. That's so sick.
I'm imagining like cheerleaders like killing a bunch of rich people.
Hell yeah.
Just like gay as fuck.
Yeah.
Take over.
Like Jennifer's Body.
Yeah.
But, like cheerleaders killing rich people.
Exactly.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Sounds lit as hell.
That's so good on so many levels, you know.
Nice.
I wanted to explore like more like punk like aesthetics and like just like styles of performance. Like I want to go harder.
Nice.
Yes.
I feel that.
Because traditionally, like 2 aliases ago, I was Captain Beard, and that I got pissed off back then because I got pegged into like fucking cute VGM land. It's just like you make cute video game music and that's all you can do. And now I just want to really like spit on like all that, but while still embracing it.
Nice.
Like I'm still the same, but it's like I fell into toxic waste and like I'm mutated now.
Hell yeah!
That's cool.
That's so sick, honestly.
That's cool. Plus I like that idea of like taking what you like. If someone tries to box you in, you don't. If you run away entirely from that, then you live in the shadow of the like. You're still doing it based off of what other people told you to do or not to do. But if you keep what you like and add other stuff that you also like, then no one can say shit. Like then you're actually just doing it for yourself. Like that's actual like whatever, power or whatever.
This is random, but have you heard of Disaster Piece by any chance?
Yeah, he did the Fez soundtrack.
Yeah, the Fez soundtrack. I don't know, I was just wondering because you said that you were doing like video game music-y stuff and like all the tracking. That's another one of my favorite composers.
Fez
Yeah?
is sick.
Yeah. Then the guy, not that it matters, but didn't the guy who made it suck?
He was hilarious. He was hilariously awful.
Oh, no. I don't even remember.
Phil Fish.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I remember back in like 2013, the game came out. I mean, he ended up quitting the game industry just because like everyone he met, he had beef with. Like he just made an enemy out of everybody.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Just an awful person. Always like going off on Twitter, and then eventually he's just like, "Fuck you! I'm leaving the games industry. I'm not making Fez 2."
Oh my gosh.
Never seen again.
Oh,
I don't know where he went.
Nice.
Rip. That was fun. I was just playing. I was like, I like this, and the music.
It's a great
music
game.
Fucks, yeah.
It's an awesome game.
Really
Yeah, for sure.
So.
I made Paper Mario.
Do you guys like for music? Do you guys want to do it like full time and have it be your like career? Or do you want to keep it as like a side thing?
That's a
like
good
how do you guys feel about it?
I would not drop what I'm doing and pursue it unless it were to build momentum on its own, and then I would feel like I could. I'm very comfortable with it being a hobby, and I like that because it means that like music promoters or anyone I talk to can't leverage my
You need to work. This is how you make money. Come on.
Yeah, like, cause like, I mean, even in the limited stuff, I've had interactions with like people and music promoters already.
They're like money.
Sharks.
Yeah, like,
sharks.
Yeah, like it's very much this energy
Snakes.
of like they're giving me a pitch. I can tell that they've given 1,000 times about like what this could mean for my career and who I need to impress and stuff like that.
We're gonna pay you an exposure.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. If I'm ever asked to do a show like for free, then I can say no. And if they're like, well, then it's like, well, and if they're like, well, we just can't afford to blah. I'm like, sure, then we just shouldn't do it. Like, you should find someone to do it for free. Yeah, we shouldn't do it. And like, it literally, like, I'm totally comfortable with that. Like, if the show I did at the 8x10 was like the only rap show I ever did in Baltimore, I would have been chilling. Like, I did not need. In my head, I was like, not like this is my launch pad.
Yeah,
I was like, this is so cool that I got asked to do this. Nice. And I was like, this is gonna be hella fun. And then it was fun. And then I was like, that's all I needed. Then he's like, hey, do you want to do another show? And even then, I was like, yeah, sure. And then I was like, we'll see if he hits me up. And then he did. And I was like, yeah, this is probably actually gonna happen. And we'll see. And so it's encouraging and it's cool. And I would love. I mean, getting paid to rap is amazing.
Yeah.
But like, so
I try to approach everything like that. Like, like this is, gonna be fun. You know, like I don't think about it like, oh, this is my big shot. This is my I gotta work with this artist or else, no, it's just like if it's fun, I do it. If it's not, then I eliminate it.
Yeah. If there's a world where it were to become like lucrative in any sort of stable way, any sort of like reliable way,
like you're getting like streaming hella.
That it was just like able to pay pay my bills and do stuff, and then I could like afford to then just put all my energy into like I wouldn't be against it, but it is not my goal right now. My goal is just to like make stuff that I'm proud of. That's like literally it.
It's like if it happens organically and the cards fall in place, it'd be cool for it to happen.
Yeah, because I'm not gonna be in a weird thing where I'm desperate for anything. I'm not gonna get fucking taken advantage or leveraged into anything like that. I'm not gonna make any deals or music with someone that I like don't trust or something. Like I can only do it with people I like, people I trust, stuff that I think will actually be like fun and a good time.
Oh well, damn! I can't make music with you anymore. That was my whole plan. I was gonna record everything and be like, "Give me $10,000 or I'm not releasing it."
Yeah, exactly.
Shit, you have a job. God damn it!
Exactly.
Fuck you.
Yeah, like I am often, I find people who are really obsessive about like the thing they're doing and obsessive with success around that. I find it interesting and compelling even. You know,
and there's nothing wrong with that. You can have success. Like, people who do that can become successful and be happy and everything.
Yeah. But
those are usually the rise and grind motherfuckers.
Yeah,
like,
and
if you aren't working as hard as me, you're a piece of shit.
Yeah,
like,
and I mean, and there's like a lot of the most famous examples of this type of person was horrible. Like whatever, fucking Steve Jobs, Michael Jordan, fucking Kobe Bryant. I'm just gonna start naming a bunch of really working basketball stars.
Yeah, exactly.
We're just like notoriously psychopaths, but like it's like that kind of like.
Kanye.
Like people who are just on that level. We're just gonna work so hard at this, and it's all that matters. So we're just gonna grind, and through that obsession, they develop a true greatness that I just have no desire for personally. Like not because I just don't need that to be happy.
Well,
it also requires like an embrace of capitalism on a certain level.
Yeah,
so, like,
I was gonna say
there's only so much room at the top. It has to be stepping on other people
creates
at that level of when you're that close to the top of the pyramid.
It creates a type of greatness when you pursue things that hard, but that's a very individialistic, like money minded,
gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
but
capitalism.
Like, I think that a lot of musicians out there, I think honestly most musicians probably do it as a hobby. A lot of musicians find and learn to appreciate like that a more reasonable and healthy level of greatness. Like you don't have to be like that multi-million-dollar traveling around the world, you know, like you can just make really gorgeous music and then people can find it, and like I think that's like a better version of greatness, I guess, than like I'm gonna step on people and use people and I'm gonna be number one and the best in the world.
And this desire, if I feel like to a lot of those types of people, what success means to them is to be like part of the canon, to be considered like part of this broad canon of like, the main thing. And like while that's cool or whatever, it's like
so much of that is out of your control.
Yeah, like if you matter to yourself and the people around you, like if your art matters to like the people in your community, then like it matters as much as like that's almost all you're even gonna experience. Those are like the people you talk to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if like it all only matters relative to the thing next to it anyway. So if it matters like to you and the people around you, then I feel like that's like definitionally like significance. Like that is like and you've achieved the thing.
I've definitely been on both sides of it. You know, back in like 2018 on summer breaks, I was having to just kind of like make my own money and like live my own type shit. And I did it through music entirely.
Oh, nice. Hell yeah.
It was a grind. It wasn't fun. I did not like making music for money, being like, this is going to pay my bills. I have to finish this today, or I will not be able to eat tomorrow. And, you know, nowadays I'm making, like, way more money off of music, but I have not thought about money off of music in a while, you know. I just do what is fun to, like, the fullest extent, you know, and then it's just, like...
Yeah, like, I want to try hard, but I don't want to need it to live.
Like, I look at the outcome, like... First, you know, the first priority is like great music, and then anything else that comes is like, ooh, nice. You know, like even if I got like a fucking like $1 million sync deal tomorrow, I'll be like, okay, cool. You know, like
let's see if this is real. You know,
like I'll be skeptical almost and curious. You know,
this is my one take from like the little bit I learned about the music business is like advances. If an industry label or whatever offers you advances, just fucking run the other way, because if your music doesn't make that money, you're on the hook for that money, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like...
Especially, and they go after young people, too. They go after young people who aren't familiar with money, and they're like, look at all this money.
Well, that's why you gotta have, like, big things. If you're gonna sign to a label, you have to have your own shit first. You have to have your own stuff so you can sell them that.
Yeah, right.
If you want to. You can sell them your published shit.
Right.
you know,
you don't
like,
want them to build it all for you because then they own it.
Then they own it, exactly. Like that way, it's like, you know, you're not depending on, you know, you have your back catalog making the money for you.
Yeah, I mean, if I were anywhere close to any of that at all, I would get a manager for sure. And
that's another thing too.
And I could think of like 2 homies of mine who are literally qualified to do that. So
cool.
I would have someone
ding
I trust.
ding.
Yeah, you're your manager now.
Fuck no. Fuck no.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
I've seen so many toxic managers, so yeah, it is important. You gotta have like someone who's cool with you and like trustworthy.
Yeah, and I but I don't know. I'm just not it. Yeah. I don't need. I just want it. It brings so much value and like fulfillment and catharsis to my life now that the idea of any of that being like jeopardized or tainted or turned into like just this like stressful shitty thing. It's like it's just like not worth it.
Right.
Not what I want.
Like all the profit and advantages, whatever, off of making music that I get is solely from just friendships. Like, that
cool.
I have,
Hell yeah.
just from people. I like working with these people. We make songs, they put it out. I have a split on it, and it blows up. Cool.
Yeah.
You know,
nice.
but it wasn't about that. It was about the moment of making that song.
Yeah, you were gonna make that and whatever came afterwards. Either way, like
exactly. Yeah, it should all be inevitable.
Inevitable.
And I think that in a lot of ways, people can like tell when that kind of thing is happening. Like they can read like authenticity or like that kind of thing into.
I mean, like making trainer songs are not going to be like authentic to your ears.
Yeah, exactly. Or like like and like you can like hear like. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I like this headspace we're talking about.
Yeah, I like the pop aesthetic. I just don't like the industry behind it. So that's like with the music. I like coming up with like poppy, like catchy songs and stuff. But it's like just shit making it at home or with somebody that I get along with. You know, no. I don't know. The other thing that's interesting is like this is not really connected, but like ghostwriters and stuff, right? Like I feel like for rap, it's kind of like weird, and I don't think you should have ghostwriters. But for other genres of music, like if you're singing, like I would like love like writing a song for somebody else and just letting them sing it if they're like if they want to. I
guess I'm not exactly sure how to interpret the statement, but I think I would disagree that I think rap shouldn't have ghostwriters.
Okay.
I think that I understand why people feel weird about it because like so much about rap came from people talking about their personal experiences and authenticity. But like I just think that like it ultimately limits us because there's a ton of people who are going to be nasty at writing who don't like we don't fucking like Lin-Manuel Miranda, like who wants to hear him be Hamilton? Fucking nobody. He's the worst part, but he wrote a screaming musical. It should just be somebody else rapping and singing it because he's surrounded by a bunch of people giving the performances of their lives, and then he sings and he sounds like a Muppet. Like it's like you know, I mean, and it's all love or whatever, but like, you know what I mean? It's like that kind of. And similarly, I think that there's a lot of people who rap really good, like and their writing is like subpar, and I think you hear it in singers too. Like take someone like I really like Masego. Are you familiar with Masego?
Yeah.
He's an R&B artist and a producer. He's mad talented. I like a lot of his music. Yeah, he's awesome. I more than once, and I almost never feel like this. I'm super good at tuning out lyrics when I don't give a shit, even though I am kind of writerly. But his lyrics will sometimes be so embarrassing, so whack that I will literally not be able to listen to a song anymore because it's just like and he literally has a line in one of his songs where he's like, I know I'll never use a ghostwriter, I'll never get an instrumental or something. I'm like, bro, use a ghostwriter. I'm like you write the melody and the cadence and have like someone come in and just fill in lyrics. You're making goated music. I was like, but you write about nothing. Best case scenario, I like don't process or care about what he's talking about, and worst case scenario, I'm distracted from the music by what he's saying.
It is an interesting line in hip hop, right? Because there is that like sense of like it's your craft, it's your story, and all that stuff. But at the same time, it's like, you know, I might have something that I want to express, but I don't know how to write it in a rap form, and like maybe working with a rapper would help with putting it out there.
And similarly, like people like making sorry, I forgot what I was about to say. It was directly connected. Feel free to finish what you were saying.
I think ghostwriting is fine. I think it's cool. But I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. So much of like, persona is like, farce. It's like,
Oh yeah, that is what I was about to say.
Yeah, who you are is how you fart. Is it stinky? Is it wet?
Right. Like,
that's how I judge people, actually. You guys don't realize this, but I have an index. And I have
fart spectrum.
the qualities. No, because I follow you around after the shows, and then what I do is while you guys are sitting at the show on the seats, I put little bugs.
That's
little machines.
At first I was creeped out, but this is kind of badass.
Yeah, no, it's pretty badass. They're microscopic, so they just go in, they take the sample.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's not military technology.
And that's how you
know. Yeah, it's military technology. It's actually military. It's classified. I have to edit and cut all this now. I actually have to kill you also.
I had to die somehow.
So that's how they're judging the showcase on the 21st.
Yep, the quality of the parts.
I think that similarly, like, people get mad when people write about stuff that like is not them, and I like with rap specifically, and I find that unnecessary. I think you could make a whole career rapping a bunch of stuff from a perspective of somebody you are not, and it could all be fiction, and that's fine. Otherwise, there'd be no point in writing fiction or poetry or anything other than like, specifically what's happened to you. Like,
right.
It doesn't.
I think that's cool. Like, somebody that I love is Randy Newman, and a lot of his songs are very like ironically written, or written from perspectives of people that he's not.
And he's like telling stories and stuff. And
I think the difference and like the thing to keep in mind when you do that, and I think that you should do that, like even in rap and stuff, is that it's clear that like, hey, this is not me, right? Like this is a story that I'm telling through like music.
Sure.
But the issue arises because there's people who will be like,
kayfabe, basically.
Yeah, like from the suburbs and shit, and be like, I'm from the hood, and they try to play the role.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's like, it's one thing if you're being a character and people know it's a character, but like when you try to like live somebody else's story, it takes away from the people who have done that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially around gangster shit, which is like so much of what dominates hip hop.
So I think that's the only thing that I feel. But I think in general, like, people should feel comfortable like trying to share their own like version of any story or any like persona.
I mean, similarly, I think that there's lots of fictional stories that anyone can tell, including in fiction or whatever. That would be weird. Like if I sat down and wrote like a short story from the perspective of like a Native American, and I did, and I whatever, I just put it. You know what I mean? Like it would feel fucking weird. It'd be like, why the fuck? Like
that's the thing that was like that from the 80s and 90s. Like bad perspective songs.
Yeah, exactly. Nice. And so like I think that like catching like what you choose, like there's lots of aesthetic judgments you make there, but the line isn't whether or not it's real. It's about like it's like other things that go into that. But I think the thing about like I think about like Rick Ross, who like made his whole thing around like I sell drugs and like I'm a thug, and like not only but dude was a correctional officer out of prison.
Wow.
Like I mean and it didn't kill his viewership at all because kayfabe, like it's literally just like it's professional wrestling, it's politics. It's a certain kind of theater where even when people lie to you, like even when someone is coming up there and lying to you, like people still don't give a shit. Like it's like which is not and I'm not saying it's like even a good thing. It's like but it's an interesting thing for sure.
And I mean the most common counter argument to ghostwriting is Dr. Dre. Dre, because that guy, he wants to make songs. He wants to make like precise, calculated songs. I feel like, kind of like Drake,
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's the whole deal with NWA. Is like Ice Cube like wrote for like 4 of them or whatever, like 3 of them, including himself. And when he's writing as each of them, he's writing in their persona,
which is pretty cool.
Which is amazing. Like, I mean, that's why he's one of like the writers in hip hop, is because he literally wrote the personas of like 3 of the NWA members and then like made Friday like
that's the cool
the
thing
next
too.
year.
You can play those roles. You can be the ghostwriter or be ghostwriter in a 4, but you can still be your own writer too. And I certainly feel very like my interest in rap came more from writing than rapping at first. Like it is my interest in it came from pen game, and I like like if I were in a rap battle with someone or something like who ghost wrote, then I'm sure I would bring that shit up because I do think it's something I can do that you can't or whatever.
Right,
there's something there, but I do think a lot of that stuff does. I think when people draw like hard kind of gatekeeping lines in hip hop around that, I think a lot of it comes from the sort of like hip hop's just so competitive. Rap is framed as a competition. Yes. And I think a lot of that is capitalism poison. It can be badass. But
I don't like competition in music. I'm just like it's fucking like American Idol and stuff. Like I grew up watching that.
Me too.
But now I just feel I can't watch that show.
Yeah, it's
like,
so uncomfortable.
I'm just like, holy fuck, like
because it's not about finding your own voice at all. Like
correct.
I feel like music or any creative endeavor should be about finding your own self. Like you want to be able to express and find yourself to the fullest extent. American Idol's just like, can you sing really good? Can you hit the high note?
Can you do the cover?
Yeah, the cover.
Are you pretty?
Are you hot? Yeah, exactly.
Are you hot? Do the judges... The last thing that I'd say about, like, ghostwriting is, like, it's not that, like, I have a problem with people who do it. It's more just that I prefer, like, artists who find a way to share their authentic experience in, like, a creative and interesting way rather than trying to just imitate what other people do.
Sure,
yeah.
It's like imitation is still good, and like there's nothing, it's not bad or anything, but like I just like finding people who it's like wherever you come from, you're telling your story or your sound or expressing yourself, and it's like you.
That's my favorite part, especially like open mic people, because most of y'all, us, we're not like established ass artists. We're not mainstream label artists. So it's like the most honest music I've found in a while.
It's actually really sick seeing all the experimental stuff and like people just going up there and going for it.
Yeah, like super
it's fucking
honest.
Cool.
I one of my earliest music memories, like making music memories, was I was like 8 years old, doing we were at a nursing home. The school was like volunteering for this. Yeah. Nursing home thing. We're like entertaining, playing bingo and shit like that. And then some of the kids who are good at piano start playing piano. And I'm like, oh, that's really cool. I can do that. Yeah. So I go up to the piano after like this fucking virtuoso ass kid is done playing. Yep. And I'm like, hey guys, like, I'm Lizzie, and this song is called Sushi. And then I just literally play nonsense for like 3 minutes. Complete nonsense. And I feel like that encapsulates my ethos, it's just nonsense. I played it out to people. I put myself out there, even though I didn't know how to play the damn instrument. I've never touched a piano up until that point.
Nice, hell yeah!
I was just like, let's try it out.
Hell yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's pretty dope. Nice. Oh yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and check the camera battery and make sure.
That makes sense.
I'm gonna.
I don't know where your energy and endurance is at, Lizzie, but I'd be interested in recording more stuff. If